everybody, in this video, let's talk about stress management. Welcome to Q&A. I am Bill, the company's expert, and today, Laura Blanco says, I wonder how a real deal CEO handles stress. Next video, Bill, please. That's awesome. Thank you for the compliment. A little compliment goes a long way. Okay, everyone, if you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, but for those of you who don't, a little compliment can work wonders. Okay, I also would have accepted, Bill, how handsome you're looking, and also how thin you're looking these days. So either of those would have been acceptable. But yeah, let's get into this. So stress management. I know a lot of people are wondering about this, and there's a ton of videos about this on YouTube. Okay, back when I was a CEO, first of all, the CEO job I've had was the most stressful job I've ever had in my life. And that's why I'm a former CEO, and I'm never going back to doing that, at least the way I did it before. Okay. Now, just like everybody else, I get stressed. I'm no different from anyone else. We all get stressed. All well-adjusted human beings feel fear and anxiety when they have to do things they don't like, and that, you know, is very important and they're nervous about. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people and a lot of you guys are feeling that every time you got to go for a job interview. And I assure you, that's exactly what I have felt many times, and certainly what I felt in the CEO job. Now, just to share with you, just my personal kind of thing that I did, there's only really two things that, for me, were effective. Okay, there's all kinds of standard stress management techniques, you know, where they say you got to breathe and you got to go and do exercise. And I'm sure you can gather from my physique that I didn't do much exercise. But there were two things that worked for me. And one of them was, you know, this is kind of embarrassing, but, you know, they say to go and do something fun, like a hobby. Well, for me, that took the form of just watching a couple of TV shows that I really liked, like escapist type TV shows, like not the news, you know, not like how-to business videos, but, you know, just kind of science fiction and drama and stuff, just escapist TV, and sort of getting it so that you're not thinking of the thing that's stressing you out, at least for a little while. That was one thing that I did that really helped. Okay. You could actually get away from the thing that that was stressing you out, if only for half an hour. It was useful. So that's something that helped me. The other thing that helped me, I was very fortunate in that I was able to talk through what was stressing me out with my spouse. So that was a huge help to me. So if you have a spouse or a partner or, you know, a friend or a family member or anyone that you can open up to and just let it out, at least for me, that was a big help. And those two things really helped me get through a lot of the more stressful things I had to deal with. But that's just me. I mean, other things may work too. You may do the whole going to the gym thing, you know, or doing a sport. That may work wonders for you. There's many other techniques. Now, I don't quite know how to take the question, if they were asking just about me or they're asking about CEOs in general. But if you're asking about CEOs in general, I think that's a very interesting topic because, you know, people are obsessed with business executives, and not to diminish, you know, my career or anything, but anybody really can, you know, own a business. Anybody can be put in charge of a small business for somebody that belongs to somebody else. Okay, that's not really stuff that, you know, only geniuses or whatever can do. But you do get a class of executive that you don't really get everywhere, okay? You don't find in every city. You only find in certain places. And that's what I call like the sort of C-level plus executives. These are people that are executives, either the CEO or C-level executives in publicly traded companies, okay? So they're a whole grade above people like me that, you know, ran a smaller company. And I've noticed that too. They seem to be able to handle a hell of a lot of stress. And there's kind of four things that I think that these people have that separates them from normal people like you and I. First of all, I think that these people, something I've noticed in my limited contact with these people is that they don't seem to care about their families. You know, regular people have like a natural desire for a work-life balance. And, you know, if you're just working all the time for extended periods, that tends to result in depression, misery. You know, if we have a family, we need to be able to be in their lives and vice versa. If that's not happening, that makes us feel bad. These people, I'm not sure about. They don't seem to care about their families. They don't seem to feel really much of a need to spend time with their children or their spouses, quite like, I think, normal people. And so that's something that they do, or something that they have that allows them to hold down those type of jobs for long, you know, like the long term without going nuts. The other thing I think is that these people have a different personality. They seem to not mind. They don't mind things like interpersonal conflict. Okay, I think that's almost like a requirement for doing those type of jobs, because whatever department you're in, if you're doing sales and marketing, or you're doing, you know, operations, or you're doing accounting, one thing that is a constant that you pretty much are guaranteed to have to do a lot of the time is dealing with people. You're going to be constantly interfacing with all kinds of people. And, you know, a lot of these encounters are not always positive. And that's putting it mildly. You know, so the type of people that do well in those type of jobs are people that don't really mind interpersonal conflict. You know, they are less sensitive to that. They don't seem to mind public confrontation as much as a regular person. So if you're addressing a room full of people and some of those people are asking pretty hostile, pointed questions, and they're demanding answers, and they're not buying what you're saying, and, you know, it can be a stressful situation for a normal person. I've noticed these people don't seem to mind that as much, which is strange to me. And the other thing is that another thing I've noticed is that they can compartmentalize their personal opinions, and they don't have a problem with that. Now, that's a trait. Any lawyer, any good lawyer can do this. They can argue something that's totally at odds with what their personal feelings are on something. Same with politicians. You know, that's a trait that these people have that makes them good at their job. Personally, I never really had that more than the average person. I had an issue, you know, sort of towing a party line that I did not agree with. My job required me that I do it. I had a lot of problems with it, caused a lot of anxiety and some negative kind of things I had to deal with. But people that are good at this, a lot of high-level executives, C-level executives, what I call C-level plus, they seem to have the ability that this doesn't really bother them that much. The third, okay, not the third, but the other third, anyone who's a road warrior, anybody who's been like an outside salesperson, or they've been some kind of envoy for their organization to interface with other organizations. So they're doing a lot of air travel and this kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about, that road warrior mentality. These people seem to have that too. That doesn't really bring them down. It doesn't really make them feel depressed like it does a lot of normal people. And then finally, 404, on an extreme level, I think these people are slightly sociopathic. You know, anxiety just doesn't affect them like it does normal people or average people. They're just desensitized to it, or for whatever reason, it doesn't bother them. You can put them in situations where would be very stressful for a normal person, and these people seem to be able to handle it and breeze through it. I'm not sure if they're internalizing it. I'm not sure if their brain is just wired differently from us. But that's the other thing that really helps being able to do those kinds of jobs. If you got to lay off a lot of people, it helps being wired that way. Put it that way. Anyway, the other thing is that the final thing, just to sort of end this off here, is that I was, I suppose, a little bit fortunate in that I was able to, when I was working in the CEO job, I could adjust my job a little bit. So I could not do as much of the stuff I didn't like doing and do a little bit more of the stuff I enjoyed doing and I was better at. And that can help. Now, if you're working at the mid-level, somewhere in there, you're a professional, you do have a little bit of leeway to do things your own way up to a point. So obviously you can take advantage of that, and that really helps you do your job. If you're brand new in a job and they tell you this is what you have to do, and you really have a problem doing some aspects of the job, what you'll find usually is that you do have the ability to actually tweak your job a little bit and do it your way. They might not tell you this, but you kind of have that. So that really helps, okay? So if you're young, you're just starting out, and you don't realize you have the ability and the authority to do that, usually you do, okay? Like I'm talking about 98% of the time you do. If you're working at like the lower level, entry level, it might not be possible, but sort of supervisor level and up, you can make the job your own. You can adapt it to your rhythms, your personality, your strengths, and that sometimes helps into minimizing the stress that you feel doing that job. So hopefully that makes sense. And thank you very much to Laura Blanco for sending in that question. It's very nice when you guys send in questions, intelligent questions that are really intriguing. So keep them coming. Thank you very much. As always, you guys are awesome, especially if you sat through this rambling explanation I just did. You know what usually helps is if you watch the video, not at normal speed, but like 1.5 times speed or even double speed. All YouTube videos, at least on the desktop, you can do that now. So feel free to do that with my videos if that makes them more palatable and a little bit more compact. So thank you very much for your attention. You guys are awesome as always. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.